12 years married, dressing to go out to a party, Agnes and Michael have their first argument.
Michael?
Huh?
You know something?
No.
You've changed.
And so have you.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Oh.
Nobody's perfect. I am human, so are you.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Now here is what we ought to plan to do. Let's make a list of irritating habits that we think the other person has.
Then once we know our irritating habits, we can correct them
As for example, now please don't be offended, but because these things exist, I have taken the little liberty of fixing up a little list. Now you're sure you don't mind?
Oh, I am absolutely sure.
Well, I think that's very big of you.
Well, you see, dear, it just so happens that I have made up a little listing, too. A pair of socks does not represent the end of the civilized world. If you're out of socks, believe me when I say that there's bound to be a more effective way to get them washed than to stand in your drawers in the middle of the kitchen screaming. Someone has stolen my sock.
This is a piece of paper. This is a column which, as you see, I have placed on the piece of paper. This is a list of receipts and bills, what we might call household expense, which I have entered along this line, forming a business-like design inside the column which I've prepared upon this piece of paper. This is a total of all those bills. It represents a month's expense, the whole outlay in checks and cash that went for the rent and the corned beef hash. In short, the sum and net result of all the figures inside the column which I've prepared upon this piece of paper. Now this, as you know, is a statement from the bank. It must be compared with the total result of all the figures inside the column if we are to know in terms of cost just how much money we've made or lost, how far, in fact, we've come or gone. What I'm trying to say is, honey, you're overdrawn. Again.
You chew in your sleep.
Do what?
You chew. You go like this.
I don't.
You do.
I've never done that one time in my life.
Darling, please remember, I'm your wife. You chew in your sleep. You do it frequently.
But that's absolutely awful.
I quite agree.
You are always late.
You are always early.
We're totally dressed and ready to go. I open the door, but do we make it? No. It's where are my gloves, my gloves, my gloves, and where is my purse, my purse, my purse? Where are my keys? Where is my hat? Where is my this? Where is my that? If I protest, it only makes it worse. Hat and gloves, keys and purse, pain in the neck, terrible curse, and I would simply like to state that if you ask me what I hate, it's the terrible, horrible habit you have of always being late.
Oh, when I start to tell a story, an amusing anecdote I've read. When I start to tell a funny story, I get flustered because I know what lies ahead. It always happens just when I start to tell a story. It makes no difference where we are. When I get where the joke should be, you
Russian dressing, which I happen to detest.
You grab the morning papers and you take the part that's best.
Every night since we've been wed, you've worn cold cream into bed. Every night beneath the sheet, must you look like trick or treat?
Nobody's perfect, nobody's perfect. I am human, so are you.
Nobody's perfect, nobody's perfect. Now here is what we ought to plan to do. You take my list and see if you can do a little better.
And you take mine and see if you can't notice and improve.
'Cause nobody's perfect,